Hello, it's Susan Duclos with All News Pipeline. It's March 8th, 2017, and we're going to discuss today the WikiLeaks Vault 7. They have dumped a lot on the American people, supposedly from a source within the intelligence community. And not only did it describe the massive surveillance that the CIA is conducting against American people, they also exposed something called the Umbrage Program or Umbrage Group, which allows the CIA to plant digital footprints to blame other countries for attacks. So, did the Russians really hack into the DNC and the Clinton campaign to produce all those WikiLeaks emails, which have been blamed for influencing the election, or did the CIA do it? Well, let's take a look at what I've put together here today. Now, Stefan, he did a great piece on some very troubling aspects of the recent WikiLeaks document, which we're going to go over next, and its connection to Michael Hastings' death, which was always considered a conspiracy theory, but now they're saying maybe it's not. But what else they found is that the Russians supposedly hacked the election, but the CIA has a whole library of Russian malware and things that allow them to create a false flag attack on America. In this case, it would be a digital attack, a cyber attack, and blame it on other countries. Now, I did a search, came up with hundreds of pages of MSM reports discussing the 26 election and how Russian fingerprints were all over it. All you have to do is put in 26 election and fingerprints in any search engine. Hundreds and hundreds of pages come up. But the Washington Post started quite a lot of those stories, consistently citing CIA sources and their bombshell news, such as one from December 2016 titled, "Secret CIA Assessment Says Russia Was Trying to Help Trump Win the White House." And each story automatically assumed Russia influenced the election because the intel community said so. Well, they traced it back to Russia's cyber fingerprints. And I do offer a note. You notice on any time that Washington Post quotes intel community, especially CIA, they never put a disclaimer in showing that the owner of Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, has ties with the CIA via a $600 million contract. That's besides the point, but it is something that's noteworthy. Now, it's not only the Washington Post that reported Russian interference as if it were a foregone conclusion, but all the mainstream media did so, citing unnamed U.S. officials claiming Russian digital fingerprints were all over the election hacks. I quote a piece from Fox 8, which cites a CNN report. One official told CNN the administration has traced the hack to specific keyboards, which featured Cyrillic characters that were used to construct the malware code, adding that the equipment leaves digital fingerprints. And in the case of recent hacks, those prints point to the Russian government. At the same time, the CIA-led intel community was asserting Russian fingerprints were all over the election. Washington Post dropped another bombshell. People may remember they claimed that Russia hacked the U.S. grid. Then they added addition to that story, a correction to that story, an editor's note to that story. And then the next day, they wrote another story saying, well, Russians didn't do it. In the meantime, the first viral story got a lot of attention. Their subsequent retraction, barely anything. But once again, they claim that it was a code associated with Russian hacking operation dubbed Grizzly Steppe by the Obama administration had been detected within the system at a Vermont utility, according again to unnamed U.S. officials. Well, WikiLeaks just unraveled everything. Part of the WikiLeaks Vault 7 CIA hacking tools revealed includes a specific section they highlighted on their Twitter page, detailing a program called Umbrage. It exposes that the CIA's Remote Devices Branch, Umbrage Group, collects and maintains a substantial library of attack techniques stolen from malware produced in other states, including the Russian Federation. With Umbrage and related projects, the CIA can not only increase its total number of attack types, but also misdirect attribution by leaving behind the fingerprints of the groups that the attack techniques were stolen from. In other words, they can create a false flag attack. They can leave fingerprints and say, hey, we know Russia did it. So, how do we know Russia's done anything they've accused them of when the CIA deliberately sets it up so that they can do it and blame them? This is the WikiLeaks tweet on Umbrage. They say CIA steals other groups' virus and malware, facilitating false flag attacks. Now, you remember also on March 5th, one day after Trump accused the Obama administration of tapping his communications before the election, Trump tweeted, "Is it true the DNC would not allow the FBI access to check server or other equipment after learning it was hacked? Can that be possible?" Why, yes, Mr. President, it is true, because we went back and found quite a few reports. The one that I have linked there, CNN. I'll put this in the description. You can go click all these links. Everything I have here, I have linked. They reported that the DNC refused FBI access to their servers, making an independent determination impossible. They had to use the DNC's third-party investigations. The FBI spent months trying to persuade the people that Russia was behind the DNC hack, but now we're learning that it didn't get much help from the DNC itself. The Bureau tells BuzzFeed News that the Democrats' organization reportedly rebuffed multiple requests for physical access to the hacked servers, forcing investigators to depend on the findings of a third-party security firm, CrowdStrike. So how did the Obama administration, the intelligence community, and the MSM justify accusing Russia of being behind those hacks? Fingerprints. Yes, the same fingerprints that the CIA has the capability of planting. There's much more to this story, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the details. So with the one that Stefan did, which we're going to go over real quick next, because that has some very interesting things in it too. But the MSM is ignoring what WikiLeaks has just exposed. Instead, they're full of articles about who did this, who gave this information to WikiLeaks. They don't mention Umbrage at all. They're just ignoring it. Why? Because their whole narrative of Russia influenced the election has just been blown to bits. Even Kim.com tweeted, CIA uses techniques to make cyber attacks look like they originated from enemy state. It turns DNC Russia hack allegation by CIA into a joke. Indeed it does. Okay, 1 second. We're going to go over to the other piece. Stefan titled this piece, "With the Watchman Vindicated, it's time for President Trump to take down the enemies of America within." The CIA definitely needs to be taken down. This deals with Michael Hastings. Back on June 7, 2013, BuzzFeed editor journalist Michael Hastings published a story called "Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans." Days later, June 18th, he was dead. Now, Stefan goes on about Hastings' story, but then he points out that the new evidence emerging yesterday via WikiLeaks Vault 7 releases that the same people and their paid assassins, the CIA, may have been responsible for Hastings' death. Now, I'm definitely linking this one in there too. You need to follow all these links. Everything here in blue are links. Follow them. Determine for yourself what you think. But this is huge. And from what I'm hearing, they've only put out 1% of what they have. This is a treasure trove of documentation detailing the CIA and not their protection of Americans, but their false flags and attacks and spying on Americans. You this is huge, and there's going to be a lot more coming out over this. Believe me, this one is blowing up as I speak.